The real world is way messier than this. But there is a theoretical point where the ROAS is a perfect balance between those rising costs and the amount of profit that you can get on an additional sale. So if you think about that point C, if we spend a little bit more, we're losing money, our profit goes down. But also, if we spend a little bit less, we're losing money, our profit goes down. It's the opportunity cost of a lost sale we could have made that would have contributed more profit to the bottom line. That point is actually not easy to perfectly calculate, but there's a rule of thumb. And the rule of thumb is that it's going to be somewhere around 2 divided by your gross profit margins. So just as an example, if you basically had 2/3 cost on a product sale and you got a 33% gross profit margins approximately, 2 divided by 0.33 is roughly 6. So your optimal return on ad spend with 33% profit margins would be roughly in that neighborhood. Might be a little higher, might be a little bit lower. People will have some different biases as well that they might want to factor into the decisions they make for their particular business. But that's roughly the point where you're achieving that optimal profitability. But there's all sorts of exceptions to that, right? If you've got a situation where you've got higher costs than what you think they are, all right? If you've got additional costs of sale, like you're eating free shipping, right? You're dealing with payment processing costs, things like that, then really your costs are a little bit higher and you might want to factor those in. Don't think about it as just being gross profit margin on the product portion of the sale, but all of the variable costs associated with that sale. It's easy to remember 2 divided by your profit margins, but it's really 2 divided by what the contribution margin is after accounting for all of your variable costs of the sale. We also have situations where there's multiple platforms claiming credit for a sale. You know, you're advertising on Meta, you're advertising on Google. You look at your analytics data and you see people are clicking on ads on both platforms before they actually make a purchase. But both of those platforms are claiming credit for that in the conversion value. So all of those sorts of scenarios where your costs are higher or you're getting things with your revenue actually being lower on each individual platform, those types of scenarios will maybe affect where you want to set your ideal target ROAS. You also might want to factor in the costs of management. And even if you're not outsourcing it to a company that's doing the management for you, you have internal costs for the employee's time that's taking care of all of this, and those are also advertising costs.